The Earth Pilgrim's journey is closely related to the idea that our entire planet, Earth, seems to be preparing to go through her own, perhaps dark night, her own shivering night, her night of hyperventilation. I feel many changes coming to our planet, but when I see these people here who can survive on so little, with so much power and so much dignity and so much peace, there is no feeling here. Everybody's going through difficulties, not just me. People who've taken their families up here, babies who may be sick, people who don't have enough to eat, have come up here against all odds to celebrate life, to celebrate this beautiful planet, this incredible, astonishing place. And maybe in later years, when more of us have to face difficulties, we'll remember that joy is always possible, beauty is always possible, and peace is always there, if we can just allow ourselves to move into that state of mind which I call the pilgrim. If we can all get a little hint of that from these fantastic people, just a hint, it may help us all in the days ahead. The whole body resonates. The whole body resonates. The whole mountain resonates. I can feel it in every cell. That was the most astonishing gathering of human energy, power, beauty, color, celebration, awe, a spectacular revelation of human creativity and joy. I don't know what you can say about this. What we experienced with Bosch Schumann was something incredible, but here it was produced by the energy of the human heart. That's where it gets you, right here.
The fact that close to 60,000 people still choose to honor God and the earth in this way suggests that a walk your talk gratitude is not a question of economics or politics, but more a change of heart. If you really believed that receiving sustenance depended on expressing thanks to the environment, then perhaps you would dance and sing almost until your last breath, knowing that your pilgrimage had meaning and power and made a difference.
Coyoriti, desde hace 2 años, 3 años, está en la visión, no me recuerdo de qué corporación minera, que quiere explotar. Y hay un proyecto, es destruir toda la montaña, porque hay mucho mineral ahí.
The thing that I notice so often is that indigenous people, when they become aware of these changes, they feel a personal responsibility. And this is one of the great tragedies. I mean, for example, you know, when people in the Himalaya or in the Andes who believe the earth is alive, believe in mountain deities, if things go askew, they take it very personally. I mean, one of the most kind of poignant examples of that is what you experienced at the Coyoriti. I mean, traditionally, of course, the Coyoriti is this syncretic fusion of pre-Columbian and Catholic ideas, a perfect expression of this pan-Indian world, which, you know, is as influenced by Catholicism as it is by pre-Columbian, Incaic and pre-Incaic ideas. But pilgrimage becomes a sacred movement to the ice, so that this wonderful metaphor of taking the crosses from your community, placing them into the tongues of the glacier that comes down over the Sinikara Valley, leaving them overnight to empower them, that you can take it back to your community. But remember as well that traditionally you also brought chunks of ice back to your community. And they've stopped doing that because they're witnessing the recession of the glaciers, and they take it as their own personal responsibility and fault. And that's very moving because, of course, the trivial amount of ice that was chipped from those glaciers and brought home as the essence of Pachamama to those who couldn't participate in the pilgrimage is trivial compared to what, of course, is really happening, is this recession of the glaciers.
From the old world to the new, environmental degradation is coming at us all like a wave, and it now seems that this ancient festival will soon run out of the sacred ice it is based on. It seems that no amount of true pilgrimage energy can even touch what we are all up against.
Genocide, the physical extermination of a people, is universally condemned, but ethnocide, which in a sense is the destruction, either directly or indirectly, of a people's way of life, is not only not condemned in many circles, it's still promoted as development policy, you know. And again, you know, none of us in anthropology would be suggesting, you know, freezing people in time, you know, like some kind of biological specimen, making zoological parks of the imagination. You know, there's this, you know, change is no threat to culture. You know, all cultures have always been dancing with new possibilities for life. And technology is no threat to culture. I mean, the internet, in fact, is a tremendously liberating tool. It's become the kind of global campfire for empowerment. And I always say, you know, that, you know, Lakota Sioux didn't stop being Sioux when they gave up the bow and arrow in favor of the rifle any more than American or Canadian farmers stopped being Canadian or American when they gave up the horse and buggy in favor of the automobile. It's so important that, you know, we have this idea that these cultures are delicate or fragile, destined to fade away, and it's simply not true. They're not threatened by change, they're not threatened by technology, they're threatened by power. In every case, these are dynamic, living, independent peoples who are being driven out of existence by identifiable forces. And that as I've written, is actually an optimistic observation because it suggests if human beings are the agents of cultural destruction, we can be the facilitators of cultural survival. You know, if this process is somehow coming out of the natural world, there's nothing we can do about it. But that's not the case. And so we have choices. And the choices isn't to freeze people in time, it's to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to live in? How do we create a truly multicultural, pluralistic world in which, you know, we can benefit from the collective experience and knowledge of all peoples?
When a species